The WWE Hall of Fame will be the Thursday before WrestleMania. Very interesting. Normally it's on the night before WrestleMania or the Friday after with the introduction of NXT. It's been traditionally, I would say traditionally, but ever since NXT had takeovers, takeovers were taking over the Saturday, so they would be on the Friday. But now it's on the Thursday, which makes you think that something will happen on Friday, maybe a Worlds Collide event, and then a takeover on Saturday or something like that. And then the WrestleMania obviously will be on the Sunday. But one of the more interesting inductees, if it were to ever happen, it has now happened, by the way, but if it was going to happen, were people thinking, what members of the NWO would be inducted? Would the whole NWO as a whole be inducted, or were some of the core members be inducted? Because let's face it, if you look at the NWO, just based on the people that would be inducted, if the whole group is inducted, you'd have names like Ted DiBiase being a two-time Hall of Famer, which people were kind of upset that DiBiase was not a part of the group since he was maybe, the fourth or fifth man to join, if you're counting the core members, Hall, Nash, and Hogan. But he was the first one to join after the original three founded the NWO. People like the Giant, Big Show, would be a two-time Hall of Famer. People like Virgil would be in the Hall of Fame, believe it or not, which is kind of crazy to think about. People like Eric Bischoff, who should be in the Hall of Fame in his own right. People like Buff Bagwell, people like even Big Boss Man, Bubba Rogers would be a two-time Hall of Famer. Scott Norton, all people. Randy Savage would be a two-time Hall of Famer. People like the Great Muta. People like Nick Patrick. People like Bret Hart would be a two-time Hall of Famer. People like Rick Rude would be a two-time Hall of Famer. People like Stevie Ray. People like Sting, if you're counting the Wolfpack. People like Miss Elizabeth, if you're counting the original NWO and the NWO Elite. People like Mr. Perfect, if you're counting several incarnations of the NWO. People like Horace Hogan, and which is probably why they didn't do it. Even if you included NWO Japan, people like Bagwell, Norton, Chono, Goto, and several others would be inducted. Even Booker T, if you're counting the WWE incarnation. But in this case, to simplify it, they're counting some of the core members, which again, you would think Show and DiBiase would be core members of this, but in this case, they're counting Hollywood Hogan, Kevin Nash, Scott Hall, and Six-Pack, Sean Waltman himself, which would make a lot of these people two-time inductees. Which eventually, you would think the Clique eventually would induct themselves once all of them are inducted. I think they technically all are. With last year of DX, they technically all are, technically. Even with China, if you're counting DX. But let's go over what they did as far as a career. We went over Hogan before, since he was re-inducted after the racism scandals. And not really scandals, but, what actually did happen was on record at that time. But, it goes without saying what wrestling would be today. It wouldn't be without Hogan. It would not be without McMahon, would not be without Vince McMahon, would not be without Hogan, would not be without other people. That era, making wrestling into the sports entertainment system that it is today. But a lot of people don't think Hogan won a lot of belts, that's obvious, but let's look at what he's actually done in the wrestling business. First off, for New Japan Pro Wrestling, people don't really remember this, and people don't really think about it. Hulk Hogan was the first ever IWGP Heavyweight Champion of the original title. Not the current one that's used today since 1987. But the original one that was won in the IWGP League 83. Which a lot of people think Inoki's the first champion, which technically he is of the current version of the title. The older version, Inoki eventually won it. After Hogan probably held it for a year. A lot of people don't think about that, but it is interesting thinking that the first, and to be honest, Japanese Hogan, a better worker than the Hogan that America saw ever will be. I would pick Japanese Hogan over regular Hogan any day of the week. Just the style Hogan used in Japan was better than he ever did in the ring. Of course, obviously you have to keep the Hogan character and keep Hogan, what he was in WWE. But, compared to Japan Hogan, it was a different animal. It was something crazy. Of course, the WWE League, we talked about before, he won the title in that thing. And the Madison Square Garden Tag League Tournament, 82 and 83, both with Inoki. The Wrestling Hall of Fame Museum, class of 2003. Pro Wrestling Illustrated Comeback of the Year, 94 and 2002. Feud of the Year, 1986 with Paul Orndorff. Most Inspirational Wrestler of the Year, 1983 to 99. Match of the Year with Mr. T. Mr. T. Piper Orndorff original WrestleMania, the first ever WrestleMania. Match of the Year, 88 with Andre at the main event. Match of the Year, 1990 with Ultimate Warrior at Mania 6. Match of the Year, 2002 with The Rock at Mania 18. Most Hated Wrestler of the Year, 96, 98. Most Popular Wrestler of the Year, 85, 89, and 90. Wrestler of the Year, 87, 91, 94. Ranked number 1 in not only the PWI Years Edition 2003, but in the PWI 500 in 1991. Ranked 44 and 57 respectfully in the 100 tag teams of the PWI Years Edition in 2003 with Inoki and Savage. For Southern Championship Wrestling, the NWA Southeastern Heavyweight Championship, not only in the Northern Division once, but the Southern Division twice. For Tokyo Sports, the Best Foreigner Award, 93, Match of the Year 91 with Tenryu in 91. For WCW, World Heavyweight Championship 6 times for the WWF, WWE, the Tag Team Champion with Edge, the Undisputed Heavyweight Champion, as well as the WWF Champion, total 6 times, Royal Rumble winner 1991, and of course 2 of the Hall of Fames. But for the Observer, you have Best Babyface 82 for 91, Best Box Office Draw 97, Best Gimmick 1996 with the NWO, Feud of the Year 86 with Orndorff, Most Charismatic 85, 83, 87, and 89 for 91, Most Embarrassing Wrestler, which is kind of ironic, 95, 96, 99, and 2000, Most Obnoxious 94 and 95, Most Overrated, which is kind of true, 85 for 87, 94 to 98, Most Unimproved, which is again true, 94 and 95, Reader's Least Favorite Wrestler, 85, 86, 91, 94 for 99, which checks out. Worst Food of the Year, 91 was Slaughter, which was the Pearl Harbor, the Iraqi slaughter, which is understandable. Worst Food of the Year, 95 with the Dungeon of Doom, again understandable. Worst Food of the Year, 98 with the Warrior, which was the worst match, not that I've ever seen, but the worst match of that year for sure. Worst Feud of 2000 with Billy Kidman, which I really liked that one, to be honest. Worst on Interviews in 95. Worst Wrestler in 97. Worst Match of the Year with Andre the Giant, WrestleMania 3, which is very surprising. A lot of people hold that in a lot. If you're thinking like work rate, I understand. But from a historical perspective, that was an incredible match. Worst Match of the Year, which Savage, Anderson, Ming, Barbarian, which of course included Z Gangster, which was fucking Debo, and the Ultimate Solution, which, of course, with WCW, was named the Final Solution, because, of course, it was changed to the Ultimate Solution, because, of course, I shouldn't even have to explain that, but just fucking unbelievable. The Tower of Doom match that censored. Just fucking stupid. Worst Match of the Year of Piper, Super Bowl 8, which I think was in a cage, I don't remember exactly. Worst Match of the Year 98 with the Warrior at Halloween Havoc. And the Wrestle Observer Newsletter Hall of Fame, class of 96. With Kevin Nash, you think about the NWO, you think about one of the founding members, of course, the Finger Poke of Doom, and several other things that he's done, including being Super Shredder in the Ninja Turtles movie, The Secret of the Ooze, which a lot of people don't remember. But as far as accomplishments go, he's very very good as far as, all the boxes check out as far as we're concerned for a big-time wrestling. I don't remember if this is the Detroit version or the regular version, but heavyweight title. For Kobe Promotions, their heavyweight title. For Pro Wrestling Illustrated, match of the year, Shawn Michaels at WrestleMania 11, 11, which was a good match. Most Improved Wrestler of the Year, 94, which makes sense. Tag Team of the Year of Scott Hall, 97. Wrestler of the Year, 95. Ranked number 1 in the PWI 500 in 95. Ranked 59 in the Year's Edition in 2003. For TNA, a two-time holder of the Legends title when it was actually the Legends title. This title will go on to have many names as of the television, King of the Mountain, fucking Global, fucking... There was something else, maybe King of the Mountain, and eventually was rebranded as the Grand Championship, even though people don't assume that. But a Feast or Fire case in 2009 would hold the TNA World Tag titles, and of course winning the titles with that briefcase as part of the band with Eric Young and Scott Hall for WCW, 5-time World Champion, 9-time, World Tag Champion, six with Scott Hall, once with Sting, once with DDP, twice with DDP, and the winner of World War III, the Battle Royal, with 3 rings, 60 men, 1 winner, and that winner in 298 was Kevin Nash. For the WWE Champion in 95, which many say was the worst title reign in WWF history, had a lot of ratings down at that time period. Just things weren't good at that time. Intercontinental Champion once, which was a lot better reign. Twice of the tag titles with Shawn Michaels. Of course, the Hall of Fame. 2015 and as of this year, 2020. The Slammy Awards. The MVP in 94. Best Tag Team in 94, Shawn Michaels. The worst Tag Team in 94, Shawn Michaels, which is kind of funny they won both in the same year. And the most predictable outcome of the year in 2011, which was performing a powerbomb on Santino Marella, which, and of course the 3rd Triple Crown champion in history in WWE. And for the newsletter, for Observer, Best Gimmick 96 is a member of the NWO, Most Improved 94, Most Overrated 99 2000, Reader's Least Favorite Wrestler in 2000, Worst Wrestler of the Year, Worst Feud of the Year, 11 with Triple H, which makes sense. Worst Gimmick 91 as Oz. The things I could say about Oz. We would not have enough time for that, quite frankly. Worst Wrestler in 99 and 2000. For Scott Hall, unfortunately with Scott Hall, was kind of drugged up during most of his NWO time, but, still a founding member, obviously. For what he's done in this business is a lot. For the AWA, the World Tag Team Championship with Kurt Hennig. For DDT Pro, somehow, is an Iron Man heavy middleweight champion, which, for those that aren't aware of that championship, it is the Japanese hardcore title in DDT Pro. People, actual dogs, ladders, fans, and several other things have held this championship. There have been over thousands and thousands of champions. Even tables, ladders, like I said before, have won this championship. It is one of the best things Japan has ever done, in my opinion. For the PWI 94 match of the year, obviously the ladder match with Shawn Michaels and at WrestleMania 10 for both Intercontinental Championships to unify both. Most Improved Wrestler of the Year 92, Tag of the Year 97 with Kevin Nash, ranked number 7 in the PWI in 94, ranked 72 in the Year's Edition in 2003, and ranked 40 and 98 of the top 100 tag teams of the year Kevin Nash and Hennig, not Angle, respectively, 2003. For the USWA, the Unified World Title, which, was originally a different title, then was molded after the AWA title after they folded, but basically was a unified title when it was unified with the World Class and the AWA title. But this became the world title of Memphis ever since. For World Championship Wrestling, the TV title once, the U.S. Heavyweight title twice, and a 7-time holder of the tag titles with 6 with Kevin Nash and 1 with the Giant, and a winner of World War III at 97. For TNA, their tag title with the band, Kevin Nash and Eric Young. For World Wrestling Council, the Caribbean Heavyweight Championship and the Universal Heavyweight Championship, which was the first Universal Championship of its kind before WWE made one many decades later. For WWE WWF, the 4-time Intercontinental Champion, of course, Hall of Fame, twice. Slammy Award winner, the most spectacular match with Michaels in that amazing ladder match at WrestleMania 10. And the match of the year with Shawn Michaels, which was a rematch of that ladder match at SummerSlam. And the Wrestler Observer, match of the year 94, obviously the ladder match. Best gimmick, 96, as a member of the NWO. And the most disgusting promotional tactic, which I would definitely agree with, WCW exploiting his alcoholism in a gimmick. Which I'm not going to talk about, which, honestly, you can go back and watch it. It was disgraceful then, it's disgraceful now. And finally, Sean Waltman, the 1-2-3 Kid, fucking X-Pac, 6-Pac, whatever you want to call him, has done it all in this business, except being a world champion, honestly. Unless you count certain titles, like we're going to do right now. The Bad Boys of Wrestling Federation, their Caribbean Championship. DDT Pro, also an Ironman Heavyweight Middleweight Champion. For the Great Lakes Championship Wrestling, their world title. For Global Wrestling Federation, not to be confused with Jeff Jarrett's GFW. This was the promotion in Texas that was pretty much the successor of World Class. Their light heavyweight title twice, and winner of one of the light heavyweight championship tournaments in 91. For Jersey Championship Wrestling, their tag title with Joey Janela. For the Legends Pro Wrestling, their Hall of Fame. For Metroplex Wrestling, their tag title with Jerome Daniels. For the Mid-Eastern Wrestling Federation, their light heavyweight title. For NWA Pro, their Heritage Championship. For Pro Wrestling America, the Iron Horse television title, the light heavyweight title twice, and the tag titles with Jerry Lynn. For PWI, the comeback of the year in 98, which was the DX return. The tag team of the year in 99 with Kane, which was a good tag team, which actually had Kane speak for the first time. Ranked number 21 in the PWI for 197, and 177 in the PWI Years Edition in 2003. For Southeastern Wrestling Alliance, their light heavyweight title once. For TNA, their X Division Championship, and the Chris Candido Memorial Tag Tournament with Alex Shelley, which they didn't really do often, unfortunately. I wish it was a yearly thing, but it wasn't. For WCW, their Cruiserweight title, and the World Tag title with Kevin Nash and Scott Hall, which was Wolfpack rules and not Freebird rules. Very different. For WWF and WWE, the European title twice, the light heavyweight title twice, the Cruiserweight title, WCW title, Cruiserweight title once, which makes him, honestly, one of the only men to have held the light heavyweight, Cruiserweight, actually both versions of the Cruiserweight, if you're counting WCW and WWE's invasion of WCW, and the X Division title, which is a lot. Probably will never be done again. Tag title 4 times, once with Marty Jannetty, once with Bob Holly, and twice with Kane, and a Slammy Award winner for the biggest heart in 94, which was the 1-2-3 Kid $10,000 challenge against Razor Ramon. 2-time World Tag Team Champion with, he won one of the titles with the Bob Holly was the tournament, was for the vacant titles at that time, and a 2-time Hall of Famer, obviously. For the Extreme Pro Wrestling, their television title, and for Wrestling Society X, the WSX Rumble, which, God, was a trip, which was co-owned Vampiro. Basically, the Rumble, I think it was 20 or 10 men, something like that. Once a lot of people were eliminated, you could climb a ladder and grab a contract. The winners of those contracts would face off for the crown the inaugural WSX champion, which Vampiro ultimately won, but still a historic moment in WSX for sure. One of the better promotions in the early years of 2000s, but never really made it, unfortunately. And with that, the NWO is in the Hall of Fame. It is a moment that we will never forget, and a moment, quite frankly, that will never be forgotten since. Again, with the people in the NWO, a lot of them, Miss Elizabeth, a lot of people could have been inducted, but they went with these four. There's nothing wrong with that. But a lot of people could have said, oh, some of these people could have been in there too, which is very arguable and very understandable and should happen one day, but maybe next time.